Scientists find cannabis compound inside totally different plant. Scientists find cannabis compound inside totally different plant. You're listening to World Reading Club, presented by Hakeem Alibokus Alexander on Spreaker, Social Podcasting, and Wisdom, Social Audio Inc. Presented for World Reading Club in association with exercisingyourmind.com, worldreadingclub.com, and Unequilibrium. This is sponsored by blogdealer.com, where you can find health, fitness, and fat reduction products and information. blogdealer.com. This is from Science Alert, sciencealert.com. It was published on October 27th, 2023. That was yesterday. I saw it posted all over the internet and all kinds of different places. So you'll find this article elsewhere. But let's just go through a quick reading of this and move on. Scientists have discovered cannabidiol, a compound in cannabis known as CBD, in a common Brazilian plant, opening potential new avenues to produce the increasingly popular substance. Of course, right? That's why, of course, cannabis is listed on the Wisdom app under business. It's big business. And that's one of the categories you'll find there. Why do I have to sneeze suddenly? All right. It's not going to pass. Sneeze is coming. All right. ScienceAlert.com reads, the team found CBD in the fruits and flowers of a plant known as Trema micrantha blume, a shrub which grows across much of the South American country and is often considered a weed. Molecular biologist Rodrigo Moura Neto of the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro told AFP in June. CBD, increasingly used by some to treat conditions including epilepsy, chronic pain, and anxiety, is one of the main active compounds in cannabis, along with tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, the substance that makes users feel high. The compound's effectiveness as a medical treatment is still under research. Neto said chemical analysis has found Trema contains CBD but not THC, raising the possibility of an abundant new source of the former, one that would not face legal and regulatory hurdles of cannabis, which continues to be outlawed in many places, including Brazil. It's a legal alternative to using cannabis, he said. This is a plant that grows all over Brazil. It would be a simpler and cheaper source of cannabidiol. Scientists had previously found CBD in a related plant in Thailand, he said. Neto, who has not yet published his results, said he now plans to scale up his study to identify the best methods to extract CBD from Trema and analyze its effectiveness in patients with conditions currently treated with medical cannabis. His team recently won a 500,000 real, which is US $104,000 grant from the Brazilian government to fund the research, which he estimates will take at least 5 years to complete. A study last year by market analysis firm Vantage Market Research estimated the global market for CBD at nearly US $5 billion and projected it would grow to more than US $47 billion by 2028, driven mainly by health and wellness use. Interesting. There was an earlier version of this article that was published in June 2023, it looks like here. So, wow, so that's interesting. So we've got another workaround with CBD, it seems, and all of the controversy. I wonder what the people the pro-cannabis people would have to say about that. Hey, Sarah, what's up? And truly, Julie, hello, welcome for listening, or just passing through. I wonder what the people who use weed would say about this if, for example, if they don't have the so-called excuse to be getting high anymore to treat their medical conditions, if CBD is in fact the one thing that actually has most of the medicinal effects, which is where a lot of the research is showing a lot of times that the alleviation of pain and other things like that come not from the psychoactive tetrahydrocannabinol, aka THC, but from the CBD or the cannabidiol. So I wonder if people would not have to be token up anymore. Some people actually have said that they don't want to get high, and that in fact they would rather just have the beneficial medicinal effects of the plant without getting high. But some people find that psychoactive effect actually to be psychologically beneficial. I know that when I did, it was for me. Sometimes I even think about being high and I get high. So I don't need to toke anymore. I haven't for quite some time. Even haven't drank any alcohol even longer than that. And I don't even crave it. Matter of fact, I drive a lot of people who are intoxicated around in my car, and after a while now, I've come to an interesting conclusion that my sister used to bring up all the time. She said, hey, with the drinking and blah, 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 she said, you need to not do this before you go certain places for business or that, because it smells and it stinks and this and this and that. And it wasn't until long after I stopped drinking and I started having a lot of people in my car who I'm driving and who have been drinking either the night before or a few hours before. And the thing that I found, I talked about this before, but they actually smell like, the first thing comes to my mind is like rotting corpses. They smell like zombies walking around. There's something about certain alcohol in people's blood coming out of their sweat, and like a few hours or a day later, that really smells like rotting flesh. It's horrible. It smells like a combination of like just vomit and like rotting, and it's terrible. And that is so crazy to me that you don't smell that when you're right up close and personal with it. But it's a disgusting smell, and I wonder that what the hell alcohol is doing to the body. There actually are, in fact, a lot of there's conflicting, and of course, research that says that no amount of alcohol is beneficial for people. Zero. Of course, there are people who say that drinking red wine is good for this and that because it and then some people don't know why. Others say it's because of the resveratrol and the other polyphenols, which are plant chemicals that act as antioxidants. But you can get those from grapes and other dark colored fruits and things like that have these polyphenols and things like that. So I don't know. Do people need to be drinking wine? People should just admit that they like getting a little bit of a buzz from whether it's wine or from weed, and not always kind of be claiming it's so healthy. So you can also get caffeine from different places other than coffee, like certain chocolates and other things inside of it that are beneficial for you. Which brings me to another point as I continue to rant after reading hey, welcome Wandering Fool, aka Sicily. Which brings me to another thing is I stopped drinking coffee and have been drinking more tea. And I've noticed the tea that I've been drinking, even when it's the Earl Grey or English breakfast tea and other black teas, I don't really feel any increased energy or caffeine effects from them. However, I've started drinking a lot of yerba, and I drink 1 or 2 of them a day at night, usually around this time when I start driving at 9 p.m., although I'm starting a little bit later tonight. But they have the best energy for me from the yerba tea, yerba mate. Doesn't give me any weird sweaty armpit feelings or agitation or anything like that. I just get really, really energized but in a calm, focused way. And I don't know, something about that tea that really does it for me. And I only drink 1 or 2 of them a day, usually only 1. But if I'm working more than 8 hours, then I'll drink a second one. If I know I'm going to work longer, then I drink a second one usually after 4 or 6 hours later after the first one, and then it gets me through the rest of it. Even though I don't know if I really need it. Maybe there's partially something psychological about it. I don't know, but it's just it's really good. I'm wondering if I can find some, though, I'd rather glass bottles, or I wonder, it would be great if they had just like a big tub of that stuff somewhere, and I could just get a keg and just pour that out whenever I wanted it to, because right now I get it from Whole Foods, and it comes in cans from a certain company. I forget what it's called, but it's a yellow can, and they've got all these interesting flavors, like, you know, like enlightened mint and lemon elation and orange exuberance and stuff like that. But these plants, which is where, you know, originally medicines came from and things like that, you know, aspirin coming from the bark of a tree and stuff. So, well, I'm glad that scientists find cannabis compound inside a totally different plant than marijuana. They Mary Jane, the weed, the good old wacky tobacco, the herb, you know, dope. They they found it somewhere else. But the scientist, he did say that they this plant that's what's it called, Trema micrantha, blume, BLUME, a shrub which grows across much of South American country. But he said that they also had previously found CBD in a related plant to Trema micrantha in Thailand. Not surprised that Thailand has another similar compound. These, you know, Amazon has rainforest, and South America has a lot of places like that, lots of forest, and of course Thailand has got some jungles over there, along with Vietnam and Cambodia and Laos and places like that. So there's a lot of plants that haven't been discovered yet, so or the compounds haven't been tested inside them. So what do we know? We're gonna find some interesting stuff, but I think that's promising, especially because one of the things that I've always been game for about marijuana, the cannabis, has been if it's actually helpful to anybody, more than getting high, which I'm not really interested in, well, except for yerba mate. That I like that high. I don't even know if you call that a high. It's just like, it makes me feel like that movie, what is it, Limitless? You know, it's a really good nootropic for me, the yerba. It's I haven't had any today yet, because I'm not tired, but I will when I start driving in maybe 30 minutes or so. And but anyway, you can find this article on Science Alert. There was another one that I saw that I was going to read. It was, I wonder where that is. Oh, I guess I'll get to it in just a moment. But yeah, scientist finds cannabis compound inside totally different plant. You've been listening to that, or you did listen to that article, plus a little rant after reading, presented by me, the Hitman, Hitman, Hakeem, in the morning, afternoon, and night, on Spreaker, Social Podcasting, and Wisdom, Social Audio Inc., presented for World Reading Club in association with exercisingyourmind.com, and Uniquilibrium, sponsored by blogdealer.com. Blogdealer.com, where you'll find lots of wonderful links for health, fitness, and fat reduction products and information. And also, I just finally launched a worldreadingclub.com, and I've been spending, there's now 211 podcasts on there, and I've been putting those on worldreadingclub.com, and I probably have 100 more to go to get them on there, to have their own little individual page for that. So there's worldreadingclub.com, and sponsored by blogdealer.com. And until next time, I think I'll come back in a minute and find that other article that I was looking about, something about marijuana. I forget what it was. Oh gosh, yeah, let me get to that. All right, peace. In the Middle East, we really need it right now.